And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. If you guys are new to us, I'm on the Amazon platform. Welcome. Glad you found us. We have a lot of great programming coming up for you guys this month as we're heading into Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, as well as Cyber Monday. So make sure you guys do hit that follow button. You'll see it either here in this corner or down below. You also will see some of the books by our next guest. We're excited to welcome back Melissa Banks. November is recognized, among other things, as National Entrepreneurship Month. That definitely is the definition for Melissa Banks. She's a award-winning master event planner, best-selling author. She's a brand strategist, media personality, and probably some things I'm leaving out. She'll correct me later. We're going to talk about what this month means for her as an entrepreneur, but also what it's planning for her to use her platform to be able to highlight other entrepreneurs as well, in particular, female entrepreneurs. If you guys are not staying connected with Melissa, we'll let you know how to be able to do that. Melissa, welcome back to the broadcast.
Well, hello, Cyrus Webb. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, me too. This month is tailor made for you, Melissa. So as I mentioned, it is National Entrepreneurship Month. So I think a obvious and logical first question would be, what has it been like for you to reflect on your journey as an entrepreneur?
I think it's exciting that National Entrepreneurship Month is the month of November because we're getting into the end of the year when we're reflecting on our journeys. We're reflecting on what went well, what didn't go well. And I'm no exception. So I think about the entire journey. And after this year, it led me back to the beginning, when I didn't know what it would look like. I didn't know what it was to get on this entrepreneur journey. I didn't have dreams of being an entrepreneur. And so I've grown, I've learned a lot. And some of the biggest things that I've learned is what I can't do what I can, and focus on those things, and to give myself grace when things doesn't work out the way I've hoped for, and just keep moving and don't make quitting an option. That's the next biggest thing that I've learned on my entire journey is just keep moving, make changes when necessary, but don't give up.
Yeah, such a great point. Hello to you, Rhonda. Good to be able to see you over there on IG. Glad you could be able to join us live. And that brings us to the first book I want to highlight then, Melissa. This was not your first book that you published, but it is an appropriate one because that is how a lot of people got to know you as an event planner. So this book is Do I Really Need an Event Planner? I have it highlighted for you guys in the carousel on the Amazon side. You guys can get the paperback as I have it here, or the Kindle edition for only $3.99. What was it like for you to be able to, especially when it comes to your being an event planner, Melissa, to reflect on that part of your journey, and then to be able to give this book to let people know why services like yours exist?
That's one of the things, Cyrus, that was so exciting to me when I was preparing for this book is it caused me to look back, when I got started, where I was, what kind of things that I was hoping to do as an event planner. How can I make a difference? How can I even educate people? From where I'm from, people didn't know what an event planner was when
Yeah.
I got started. It was church folk and family folk that did everything as far as weddings or any type of event you were planning. So when we began, we had to not only educate ourselves because it was new to us as well, but we also had to educate our community, our audience, that this is something that you need that will make your day more special. But as the years also progress, we still need to do that. But I also wanted to not only educate you, but also educate planners as to what questions do I ask the planner when I sit down with them? How can I understand what the planner's role is? Even if I'm a good at planning events, and why people who are good at planning events do still need an event planner to help guide the process. So this book caused me to look at that and also look at some real life situations where it made all the difference in the world having an event planner on site.
Love that. Tracy O'Neill Horton, hello to you. Tracy, glad you could join us live. She says hello to you as well. Melissa, and Melissa, I'm so glad you mentioned that because a couple of things came to mind as you were talking. One, you started off with a very centralized audience in one state, right? But this book is something that people can pick up no matter where they may live in the world to be able to know what an event planner does. How much of the education piece is important to the sale or getting the client?
Well, it's critical, right? Because people want to know why I need what you're offering. How does it help me to understand that this is something that I have? And we're excited. Actually, Cyrus, the pandemic even exposed us even more, if you will, beyond our borders. We did events in other states, but not on a broad basis. But the pandemic caused us to do virtual, to be able to be accessed from distances, which made it even more important. So an event planner being a part of your event doesn't necessarily mean she's in the room with you, doesn't necessarily mean that she's in your city. So you connect with that event planner. That's the biggest thing. Find out something about her. What is it that drew you to click on her company? Because there's so many event planners out there. But it's a connection because it's a relationship, right? If you're planning a special event, the person who you're working with is critical to understanding what they're going to do, what they're not going to do. You know, some people thought event planners were somebody to run all the errands for you when you're planning your event. And that's not the case because we can be planning an event in Florida and you're in Mississippi. So that's one of the biggest things that have come out. And I'm super excited about that.
Yeah. And again, for myself, I've learned a lot about what event planners do. I've never personally, just want to make sure that's right. I haven't personally worked with an event planner. I've been a part of events that had someone involved, right? That I was either attending an event I just was at in Virginia. They had someone who was taken, that was a point person, and everything was so efficient. I mean, from the cash bars to making sure that everything was the way it's supposed to be before people even got there. So it says a whole lot. So that's really what you were able to do with this book, Melissa. I'm going to go on though, because that was not your first book. This was actually the very first book. It's going to end up in a museum, I think, probably the devotion. So I want to talk about how I'm going to highlight it on the Amazon side here. There it is. So you guys can get it, of course, for $7.99 for the paperback, or it's $3.99 for the Kindle as well. Let me go back because I want to make sure I get this year right. 2021, 3 years ago, Melissa. Talk to us about that. What it was like for you 3 years ago to publish your first book, to be all on the cover, the front and the back, and what was it like for you to be able to have this available on Amazon?
Wow. Wow. That was definitely not something I dreamed about. There's definitely not something that I thought would ever happen. What I wanted to do, and I have this passion in me, and those who've heard me talk, they know this, is I wanted to inspire and encourage individuals to believe in themselves. And I wanted to put something in their hands because we're visual people. You know, you get something in our hands. And when I mentioned I wanted to have a devotional, it still didn't seem real. And then the wheels started going and they went quickly. And it will never get old. The moment that first book arrives and your name is at the on that front of that book, that is an experience that I will always remember. And I go anytime this book comes up, it just brings smiles to my face, even now, because it's so exciting. And it just shows that being willing to just step out, being willing to do something that feels uncomfortable can bring something like this that you never thought would happen to you.
Yeah, I love that. William McCreary, hello to you. Good to be able to see you over there on Facebook. I'm going to reset real quick and say, for those who are just tuning in, welcome. You're watching Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live, and you probably can tell because I've been shouting people out, we are simulcasting our broadcast. We welcome those tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and on Instagram. If you guys have any questions or comments for Melissa, make sure you guys put those in the chat. It is National Entrepreneurship Month. So, of course, we had to have Melissa Banks on the broadcast. She's a award-winning master event planner, best-selling author. She's a media personality, brand strategist. She has a lot going on. We've been talking with her about the journey, but also how her books have corresponded with the journey. Another thing that you do, and it's appropriate, we're having this for those joining us live, Melissa, on Wednesday, a new episode of Dream by Design with Melissa Banks. Your podcast is dropping today. I'm going to highlight the podcast on the Amazon side for you guys. Make sure you guys are following her there. That ties in well with your dream journals, too, because you're all about the dream. Talk to us about what it's been like for you with season 4 now, right, of the podcast, to be able to already see the response and to be able to share the stories you're sharing.
You know, the podcast is just near and dear to my heart. And the reason it is it's real people, real story, real women. These are women that share their journeys for real. They share the juicy good stuff. And then they share those things that they had to believe in themselves. They had to push through in order to keep going. And that's the key. Our journeys are not straight roads. You know, there's going to be crooks that's going to throw you off on the left. It's going to get you back on straight. When you think you're straight, then it's going to fall off again. and you have to straighten yourself out. The key is to stay on that path of reaching the dream that you have for yourself, and just believing in yourself. And these women that come on the show, they're open. They share some real stuff, and by them sharing their journey, it encourages and inspires other women to continue in their dreams, even if they're thinking of quitting because it gets hard. Someone on that show will say something that not only encourages them, but encourages me as well. So I'm just really excited that this is season 4, and it's been absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So talk to us about the dream journals. I mentioned those two. I have them here for our audience joining us here on this side. On my far left, we have the Dream for Him, which is your newest journal, also your newest bestseller. But then also we have this one here, the Dream by Design with Melissa Banks Dream Journal as well. Talk to us about the journals and how they came about, Melissa.
The journals came because during a really difficult season in my life, one of the things I picked up and started doing was journaling. And the journals allowed me to just write my thoughts. I didn't have to clean them up. I didn't have to make them be nice. I can just, what I was feeling, I could put it there on paper. And just writing it out was a healing process. Not only was I writing out the negative and the hard stuff, but I was writing out those dreams that I had in my heart. And so now I can pick them up and I can look at them, and I can go back to that place and I can see how far I've come and what I've pushed through, even on the times when it's not great. So the journals came because I wanted to give others something beautiful to put in your hand, but to encourage them to sit down and write in that journal, because that journal will get you through and be your healing process through your journey. And it never goes away. Some of my journals are 25 years or more old, and I still have them. I still pick them up sometimes. And that's where the journals came from.
You mentioned something beautiful. That's a great segue to something that you've added to your business over the past year, and that are your dream parties. So as our audience can tell, there is a theme here with Melissa with the word dream, like with me with conversations. But Melissa, talk to us about the dream parties and what that was like for you to start those and to get outside your comfort zone with them.
Wow, I love the dream parties. I just love them, and they're so much fun. And I still can't believe I do them live. And Cyrus, that was not something I wanted to do.
Really?
I was kind of pushed a little bit into doing them, even though I was afraid. Sometimes you do have to have somebody give you that nudge and say, just do it. And that's what we did. And it's been amazing. It's like coming together with friends and having a party, showing off the beautiful jewelry that we're known for and our dream boxes, and going into the holiday season, gift ideas. And it's just fun to be with people and just have a good time on Friday night.
Yeah, and you're doing something very special this month. Talk to her awesome about it. They can get, normally you do one a month of these, but what are you doing during the month of November, Melissa?
During the month of November, beginning this Friday, we have a dream party every Friday, including Black Friday. Of course, around here it's going to be Pink Friday, but it is exciting to come. We're going to be coming on. We're going to give you some ideas. What can I put together for him and for her? We're going to be giving both gift ideas. And of course, it's something you can get for yourself. So we're going to have a party every Friday leading up to Black Friday and Small Business Saturday as well. So we're excited about bringing some gift ideas, having some fun. And of course, you get special discounts while you're live. So just grab your list, men and women, and come shop with us.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that last part, men and women, because one of the conversations Melissa and I've had is that, yes, she does have individuals who are buying for themselves, but talk to us about the ideas of gifts, Melissa. Why is this a good time for our audience? Maybe they may have a special lady in their life. Why is this a good time for them to tune into the dream parties?
Because we've done the work for you, right? So you might be figuring out, what can I get for my wife or my daughters or my women at work? There's so many things and so many options. We've done the work. We've put together some great ideas for you to give to that person that you want to say happy holidays, and I'm thinking of you. So we did the work. We put the things together. You don't have to think about it. You have to just show up at the party or go to the website. Of course, you can also go there and grab something for her that's inspirational, that's beautiful, that she can have going forward.
Last thing I want to talk to you about, Melissa, and that is what you've been able to do for other entrepreneurs. Now, as I mentioned, you shared a bit of your own entrepreneurship journey, but a lot of entrepreneurs out there don't know some things that can help them to kind of present themselves. What has that part been like for you to do, to offer them tools like media kits and other promotional material to help them put their best self forward.
I love that, and that's something that I can sit. Some you have a gift, and that gift sometimes just comes out without you looking for it. So that's kind of how the branding side went. I looked for how you present yourself. I looked for how you can say what you do. I was in a meeting with a very established entrepreneur because we do so many things, and sometimes the hardest question in the world is, "What do you do?" But it should not be a hard question. So that's what started my desire to not only help entrepreneurs look like their brand, but to have tools that they can reach out to get. And that's where the media kit came, because the media kit just broke it all down. It highlights everything that you do, and it's easy. If someone asks you, what is it that you do? You can shoot them that media kit, and it's all right there, and it represents your brand. And then you can talk to them later about the other 100 things that you do. But that gets you in the door, and that introduces you to the product. Everything is part of your brand. Before you open your mouth, is how do you look on social media? How do they perceive you when you're talking about your business? All of that is part of it. And I absolutely love working with entrepreneurs and helping them see that, everything matters. Every time you show up, it matters. And by offering those products, like the promotional graphic is another product that we offer, because sometimes that's all the person gets to see. That's their first interaction with you, is what you look like on social media, what that graphic look like when it comes across there. This grabs their attention, and it causes them to move to action. So I love that part of the business.
Yeah, I want to go back to what you mentioned. What you talked about, of course, what all of us had to go through in 2020 and how we had to reshape our businesses. My business went through some changes as well. I guess they still think about the audience out there, Melissa, and other entrepreneurs out there, or maybe aspiring entrepreneurs. That can be a scary thing to think about, that everything you've built now is in question, in limbo. You may have to make changes. Is this going to survive? We know a lot of businesses did not survive, in 2020. What helped you to face that fear and to get through that period?
You know the story. Back in 2020, when the pandemic hit, my business was event planning and design. That was the business. It was in person. It was within reach. It wasn't beyond miles. That meant when the pandemic hit and the world changed forever, I had to determine and be willing to make some changes and step into some areas I had never been in before. So everything else you see that I do and talk about happened at that point. But I also had to recognize that if I wanted my dream, if I wanted to keep going, if I wanted it bad enough, then I had to learn some new things. I had to be willing to do some things different that I was doing, and step out on fear, even when it felt so odd, so strange, so uncomfortable. I still had to be willing. It all comes back to you. The opportunities may be there, but you have to say yes, even though it makes me feel dizzy in my stomach. I had my first interview during that time. I had never done an interview before. I went to my car on the job that I was working a job at the time. I went to my car and did that interview scared to death, because the interviewer said, "I'm not going to give you the questions ahead of time." I had
Really?
never done that before. Guess who the interviewer was? We're not going to call any names, but that was a breakthrough moment for me. And so even today, I think about that, sitting in my car with all the windows up and doing a radio interview for the very first time. I would have never done that. I would have never stepped out and did that. So it's a willingness to do it, even though you feel scared and it's something that you've never done before.
Yeah, it's so true. And whoever that was, they should be commended for being that parent bird that just pushed you out the nest and caused you to soar. And look at you now, Melissa, soaring. That's what I think we should name them. but no, but that is a great reminder for our audience, because situations happen, right? No matter how long we've been in business, you with over 2 decades, no matter where it may fall, we have to be prepared for what could come. So that brings us to this, Melissa, as we wrap up here. What is next? You mentioned the dream party is going on every Friday this month. What else should be on the lookout for?
But this is the end of the year, so we're starting some new things. We have some new, a branding special out right now, but we're doing some new things, getting ready to go into 2025, along with our dream parties. The parties will continue to grow. That product line that started with just pearl jewelry, there's so many other things didn't happen. And we have so many great events going on for 2025 that we're excited about as we wrap up this year with our event planning.
All right.
Lots of new things happening.
So make sure you guys are staying connected with our guests. Again, everyone, Melissa Banks has been our guest. She's a award-winning master event planner, best-selling author, brand strategist, media personality, talking with us about her entrepreneurship journey during National Entrepreneurship Month, as well as, of course, what it's been like for her to grow her business, to build her brand, and also to help others along the way. Melissa, a great conversation with you. How can our audience stay connected with you?
This was an amazing conversation. I enjoyed it, and I hope it inspired another entrepreneur out there. Listen, it's easy to connect with us. You just go to themelissabanks.com. Everything will pop up. You can even listen to some of those episodes of Dream by Design with Melissa Banks and those amazing women who share their journeys. You can listen to them right there. You can follow all the Dream Party stuff that's happening, all the special gifts. Everything is right there. And, of course, our DMD event planning page, where if you're planning an event or you just want to schedule a free consultation and just talk about the event that you have coming up, you just can click it right there. And all of our social media links are all right there. You just have to remember themelissabanks.com.
All right. So make sure you guys remember that. Melissa, congratulations to you again. Great to be able to catch up. And looking forward to our next chat together.
Thank you again for having me.
And glad to do it. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.